Okay, what we're about to get into, it feels like something ripped straight out of a thriller novel, but I promise you, this is all too real. We're going to break down this incredibly high-stakes showdown on the open seas, a clash between the US and Venezuela that is sending some serious shockwaves around the world. You know, for years, you'd hear whispers, rumors, and accusations about this kind of thing happening, but it was always deniable. There was never any hard proof. Well, that just changed, because for the very first time, we have actual video of it going down. And the footage, it's just incredible. You're seeing US forces actively boarding and seizing a foreign oil tanker. I mean, they took complete control of the ship, the crew, and its entire massive cargo of crude oil right there at sea. This is a huge escalation, and it put everyone on notice immediately. And blowback from around the world? It was instant, and it was harsh. Russia didn't mince words. They issued a direct warning to the United States, basically saying, hey, this isn't just law enforcement. You're starting down a path that could lead to a new war in South America. The stakes just could not be higher. So you're probably asking, how on earth can the US justify a move this aggressive? Well, their official reasoning boils down to two words: shadow fleet. Let's take a minute and unpack what that actually means. In a nutshell, a shadow fleet is exactly what it sounds like. It's this network of ships that operate in the shadows, kind of in the gray areas of international law. They're the vessels countries use to move sanctioned stuff, like oil, completely under the radar, dodging all the official rules and restrictions. And these are the key characteristics the US is pointing to. They're saying this Venezuelan tanker ticked every single box. It apparently wasn't registered with the big maritime agencies, it was operating without any insurance, and its ownership was super murky. This lack of official paperwork, that's the legal loophole the US is using to say, we had the right to seize it. But let's be clear, this is about so much more than just one tanker full of oil. The way this went down, it's being seen as a powerful, very calculated message sent out on the global stage. And it seems pretty clear who that message was intended for: Russia. See, by going after Venezuela's shadow fleet, the US is signaling a whole new ballgame. They're showing they're willing to enforce sanctions by force anywhere on the planet. The message is simple, really. We can do this to you too. Okay, so you might be thinking, why should a country halfway across the world, like India, even care about something happening in the Caribbean? Well, this is where you start to see the ripple effects hitting global trade. And here's the connection that really matters. Russia has been using this exact same shadow fleet playbook to get huge amounts of oil to countries like India, getting around all those Western sanctions. This seizure sets a really dangerous precedent, because now any of those tankers heading for India could, in theory, be intercepted the exact same way. That creates a massive new weakness in their energy supply. So now a lot of analysts are saying we need to look past the idea of sanctions enforcement. They're starting to use much, much stronger language, framing this whole thing as a classic act of war. The term that keeps popping up is oil blockade. And historically, a blockade isn't just a fine or a penalty. It's an act of war. It's designed to literally cut off an enemy's lifeline, to cripple their economy before you potentially launch a military strike. It is deliberate economic strangulation. Someone even compared it to a medieval siege. And that's a powerful analogy, right? You surround the castle, you cut off all the food and water, and you just wait for the people inside to get weak and desperate. Then, once they're at their breaking point, you attack. That's what some people think is happening here, an economic siege of Venezuela. But there might be another way out of this, an off-ramp to avoid a full-blown war. And as the story goes, it comes with a very specific and a very, very high price tag. $200 million. That is the unbelievable number that's reportedly on the table right now as the price for a peaceful way out of this mess. So what in the world does $200 million buy you in a situation like this? Well, according to these reports, it's the price for Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro to just walk away, to step down and allow for a peaceful change of power. So here are the alleged terms. First, that $200 million payout, so Maduro can keep living his presidential lifestyle just somewhere else. Second, he and his top ministers get total legal immunity. And third, they get safe passage and citizenship in a new country, one that doesn't have an extradition treaty, so he can't be prosecuted down the road. And this really lays out the two completely different futures we're looking at. On one side, you have a full-scale war, a U.S. bombing campaign, the potential for huge numbers of casualties, and the risk of destabilizing the entire continent. On the other side, you have this bloodless exit, where Maduro takes the deal and flees, a new government comes in peacefully, and the U.S. claims a major diplomatic win without a single shot fired. So that's where we are, standing at this critical fork in the road. Is the trigger going to be pulled on a conflict that could just engulf South America? Or is a deal going to get cut behind closed doors that changes the fate of an entire nation overnight? The future of a continent is hanging in the balance, and believe me, the whole world is watching to see what happens next.